deputies, we're getting our fourth part of the LSPDFR 0.4 preview series. I thought I would just do an impromptu video. We can read the update together, discuss it. If you have questions, comments, just put them in the comment section below. But if you're not familiar with the update series, I'll link the other 3 updates I've done on LSPDFR 0.4. We still do not have a release date, so keep that in mind. It hasn't been announced yet, but I can only imagine we're getting closer. So we'll read it, I'll give you my thoughts, and we'll go from there. It's probably the most critical component of the mod, so it follows with any new version of LSPDFR. You can be pretty confident that the underlying systems which enable police pursuit gameplay will be updated. LSPDFR 0.4 is of course no different in this regard, and following on with the general theme of 0.4's development, which is more or less pulling everything out and ripping it to pieces, we've taken the opportunity to revamp much of the pursuit gameplay in the mod. So from the first paragraph, you can see they have the intention of revamping the pursuit system, which has been in dire need of an update. We've had so many issues with backup AI being way too aggressive, ramming into people, being totally unrealistic in terms of a pursuit. That's why personally I don't like to call out a backup, because it makes the scene almost too chaotic. So it looks like there's going to be a new pursuit interaction menu. Since LSPDFR 0.3, we've had an interaction menu which has, as you would expect, facilitated interaction between you as a player and your character in their job as a cop. While this is cool and all, there's definitely a number of areas where the interaction in LSPDFR falls a little short, with pursuits being perhaps the most obvious. In LSPDFR for GTA 4, there are a couple of toggles available during pursuits, notably the option to force or disable the usage of lethal force. With 0.4, however, we think we far surpass that by introducing a handful of new options which definitely provide more control than ever. We've got a screenshot here. It shows this vehicle pursuit menu, and you can see you can adjust the AI behavior. In this scenario, they have what appears to be an agency selection, LSPD. The behavior is tracking, which is just falling behind the vehicle and following it, and lethal force is set to automatic. If you want to, I'm sure you can disable that. The cool thing about the new interaction options for pursuits is that it ties in nicely with the new customization options introduced in 0.4 and covered earlier in our previews. So not only can you define and configure law enforcement agencies to your liking, but you also can carry this through to pursuits too by designating a specific agency to handle the chase. If, for example, a pursuit that starts in Los Santos crosses multiple jurisdictions, then it's entirely probable that you'll end up with a number of agencies joining, which depending on the circumstances and or preferences might not be so desirable. With the new interaction options, you can simply specify that the initiating agency handles the pursuit, leaving the other agencies to mind their own business. Once again, this has given us further control over the agencies and which agencies are involved in pursuits. Similarly, there are a lot of other practical usefulness that are found in these options. We brought back the ability to force on/off the usage of lethal force against pursuit suspects, and there's also the ability to enable or disable pursuit intervention tactics. And of course, for those in search of the ultimate exercise in boredom, then you might find the setting a pursuit into tracking mode, where ground units will hang back, follow from a distance, leaving your small air force of helicopters falling above to do all the work. This is true. So the more realistic pursuit tactics, especially with LAPD, which LSPD is based off of, is tracking mode. Hanging back, letting the helicopter follow, not to put too much pressure on the suspect to make dangerous moves in the vehicle. Pursuit intervention techniques. As alluded to above, LSPDFR 0.4 also introduces a number of changes to the artificial intelligence in pursuits. Currently, the main tactic employed by NPCs in GTA 5 during pursuits is to rather aimlessly ram into the back of the suspect vehicle in the unrealistic belief that this is actually going to help end the pursuit. Of course, this usually just results in the cop crashing into oblivion and it looks really, really dumb too. So naturally, one of the coolest new additions to the LSPDFR 0.4 is the implementation of a working pit maneuver. We've got a little GIF here of the pit maneuver in action. That's awesome. We've mentioned the fact that we have backup AI running into people, so seeing that pit maneuver is going to be a really cool addition. As cool as this is, we know the NPCs performing pits may not be to everyone's taste, and that it may not be suitable in every circumstance. So these can be enabled or disabled on the fly during pursuit through the interaction menu by changing the tactics option. If pursuit tactics are disabled, pursuing NPCs will not attempt pit maneuvers. They will also shy away from most other advanced tactics like blocking. Another screenshot of a successful pit maneuver and the suspects with their hands up. Looks like air support's going to get revamped as well. Throughout the history of our two mods, air support has always been a touchy subject. For those of you who played LCPDFR, you will likely still carry with you many terrifying memories of those white and blue flying death machines. In previous versions of LSPDFR, things generally weren't that much better either, especially when your pilot decides in a moment of wisdom that flying through the bridge rather than over it is the best course of action. With 0.4, we've taken the time to address some of the most frustrating issues with air support, with a particular focus on dramatically increasing both the usefulness and lifespan of our helicopters. Specifically, you'll notice that the helicopters in LSPDFR now fly at a much more realistic height and will properly increase or decrease their altitude as the situation requires, such as when a pursuit is passing through a heavily built up area. There's also far more competent at actually keeping up with the suspects they are pursuing, and will do so with a degree of intelligence rather than just trying to fly directly above them. Another screenshot of air support with the spotlight on. This is a problem. I've seen air support multiple times running into stuff, getting really low, hitting power lines, things that air support in real life would not even attempt to do. Furthermore, we built in special modes for air units, giving them the ability not only to follow suspects, but also to conduct searches over wide areas, something which is especially useful when ground units have lost visual or are attempting to locate a target. In addition, our helicopters are not also responsive to changes in condition of pursuits they follow, such as if a suspect is in a vehicle or not, and will adapt accordingly. When tracking a suspect on foot, air units won't simply hover above them, but will engage in a more realistic flying pattern where the aircraft seeks to maintain continuous movement while operating varying angles to compensate for possible obstructions like buildings. Another screenshot of the suspect getting tackled, and then helicopter screenshot at a much more realistic height. You can see it's way up in the air there. As always, stay tuned for more news about LSPDFR 0.4 as we progress towards its completion. So that's the latest update. I'm excited. Pursuit tactics and the inclusion of a pursuit and tactics menu, that is going to greatly increase the AI capabilities, because right now they're pretty limited. A lot of times when playing LSPDFR, I basically feel like a one-man department, like it all depends on me if anything's going to get done. So anytime AI improvements can be made and improved upon, that is a very noteworthy improvement in my eyes. So guys, let me know what you think. A lot of screenshots were added in this update. I'll include a link if you want to read it yourself, and hopefully we'll get a release date soon. Thanks for watching.